Living Well. Welcome, welcome. Very nice to meet you. And what is your first name?
My name is Angie
Angie?
Harrington, and mine is Michelle.
Michelle, Angie and Michelle. My name is Pam. Welcome. I am the director for Living Well this year. And I am honored to have you here with us along with everybody else. And hopefully more people will show up tonight. As we are getting started, why don't we start with prayer? Our dear Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for bringing us here tonight, Lord. It is your purpose that we learn about you and we learn how to take care of our bodies. I thank you for each person that has taken a part in this service tonight and each person that is here. In Jesus' name, amen. So, I became a vegetarian 35 years ago. And one of my favorite foods is cheese. How many of you love cheese? Yes. Cheese is, it's just one of those things we really love. However, do you know that cheese is actually more damaging to our blood vessels than, I'm glad your phone's going off, somebody, it reminds me to shut mine off as well, thank you. But cheese is actually more damaging to the blood vessels than meat. Did you know that? I bet you didn't know that. So we want to take care of our blood vessels so that, well, what happens if your blood vessels get clogged? Stroke, what else? Heart attack, right? Okay, and also when your blood vessels are getting smaller because they're getting full of the cholesterol. You can't think as well. You can't remember as well. I don't know if it could be part of it, but I don't know that that's the cause. But good question. That is not my area of expertise. But nonetheless, when I became a vegetarian, like I said, 35 years ago, I thought, well, I'm going to be eating better because I'm not eating any meat, but I am eating all the cheeses, and I'm eating all the pastas, and I'm eating all this other stuff. And what happens when you eat a lot of cheese and a lot of pasta?
You gain weight.
You gain weight. That's exactly right. Did you do that? Did anyone do that? Did you find that happened? Well, it happened to me. And so we have to learn how to eat appropriately so that we don't gain weight and so that we stay healthy.
Or we can lose weight.
And so we can lose weight at the same time. So tonight, we are going to show you how to make your own cheese. Did you know you can make your own cheese that is not made from dairy products? Did you know that? Yes. So we're going to make some cheeses tonight. We're going to serve you, and I wonder if, are we ready to serve? We can go ahead and serve. The ladies are going to bring out our meal tonight, and I apologize, I did not. Okay, so as soon as these ladies sit down, we'll go ahead and have a blessing for the food. I apologize, I said thank you, God, for being here, but I did not have a blessing for the food. So we'll go ahead and do that in just a second. This is Deborah Holland, for those of you who do not know her.
Good evening.
Good evening, good evening. Okay, and so Deborah and I are going to demonstrate for you how to make some cheeses tonight, and then we're going to have a speaker, and we'll introduce him in just a little bit. All right, so let's they're gonna bring the food out. Let's go ahead and have a blessing. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this food. Lord, we pray that it will nourish our bodies so that we can hear you better. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, so Deborah, are you ready? Are you on? I don't think you're on. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and just talk while she's getting started.
Testing, can you hear me out there?
Yes.
Good evening, everyone.
There.
Good evening.
Now she's on. Okay, so Deborah is one of our members here of the church. And for those of you who do not know, I do want to point this out. Deborah has her own cookbook that she has developed. And in this cookbook, I was just looking at it, there are many types of cheeses. So, not only do you have the recipes in front of you, but Deborah has cheeses here that you can purchase one of her cookbooks. We have them over there on the table, and you can take it home and try other cheeses as well. All right, Deborah, go ahead. Okay. All right, so we're gonna start off making the whipped almond ricotta. How many of you like ricotta cheese? Yes. What do you put your ricotta cheese in? Lasagna. And pancakes, you know what? Yes, we did that when I was a child too. But we're gonna make you a ricotta that is healthy for you. And you'll still be able to put it in your lasagna, as you will see as you receive your meal tonight. Okay, Deborah, go ahead. Okay,
We're gonna read the ingredients.
so, and this is so simple. Go ahead. Deborah is just putting into the food processor 2 cups of slivered blanched almonds.
Okay, first of all, we're gonna use.
And then 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast.
Okay.
Now, does everybody know what your nutritional yeast is? Not to be confused with regular yeast for bread. So nutritional yeast, great products that God has given us. Nutritional yeast is a different kind of yeast. It's a nutty flavor, and you put it into the cheeses and many other products that you make, and it gives it a zesty, a cheesy, a yellow color to it. But nutritional yeast is full of vitamin B's. They're full of vitamin B's that gives you energy. I love nutritional yeast. In fact, I pulled up some information. They call this a superfood, and it helps the body to rejuvenate itself. It enhances immunity. It has antibacterial, antiviral properties. So right now during the winter, we don't want to get sick, right? We don't want the flu, so we need to be eating this. If you have loss of appetite, you have diarrhea, this also will help. It has probiotics, and it's good for your hair, your nails, and your skin. All right, our next product is lemon juice, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, 3/4 teaspoon of sea salt. Sea salt is much healthier than regular salt. 1 garlic clove, and just pour it in. 3/4 cup of water. And then on your recipes in front of you, it says that you can use parsley, oregano, or basil. And lots of people like those, but again, many people really don't like a lot of that in their food. So we're leaving those out tonight. Okay, Deborah, what are you doing?
Noise.
Okay. Okay, it's not working. All right, so what Deborah's going to do is just pulsing the process a little bit. And in addition, we want this to be not so creamy. We want it to be chunky. Can you see it? It's kind of chunky. This is the ricotta. Okay, so see how fast that was? That's all you have to do.
And the
Now-
more you let it stuff,
Now, add,
the more you stir it, it will thicken up for you, and so you will see this texture. Okay, and so you can easily spread it on crackers or whatever you like.
in fact, if you look on your dish, you have different kinds of cheeses on your lettuce, and on your celery. So one of the lettuce is your ricotta cheese. One of the celery has potato cheese, which I will talk about, and the other one, celery has just a regular creamy cheese, which I'm going to demonstrate in a little bit. And then we have another, the block cheese as well. Okay, we're going to set up for another product here. See how fast this is? Look, you can make these so easily. They are so fast. Okay. How many of you do jamming at home? Make your own jams and jellies and that kind of thing? Nobody? Okay. Well, this is something you purchase at the store. It's called Pomona's Universal Pectin. And for this next cheese, which is the mozzarella, cashew cheese, you're going to use this, yes.
The ricotta cheese, how long will it keep in the refrigerator?
Well, I have one in mind for about a week.
About a week.
Okay, so, and then you'll notice when you purchase this, inside, there are 2 packets. These 2 packets, I put numbers on them, 1 and 2, so that we know which one to use first. You can't just put them in at the same time, because if you do, this will thicken up very quickly, and we don't want it to too quickly. So we start with number 1, and then later on we put in the second packet. So just to let you know that. Okay, Deb?
Oh, she said, okay, okay.
Okay, so, and again, these are so simple. And Deborah she just started with cashews.
2 cups.
And Margaret, can you bring me a measuring cup, please? It tells us that we need to use 2 3/4 cups of boiling water. For our purposes tonight, we are going to use boiling water, but at home you probably should.
I do want to,
And then, so you've got that. All right, now we're going to put in,
we're gonna add them.
okay, we're going to add all these products first. So we've got,
That's coconut oil.
coconut oil, hold on, we want to go in order. Okay, so we've got 1/4 cup nutritional yeast. Again, we already put in the coconut oil. 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. 2 teaspoons of sea salt. 2 garlic cloves. And 1 teaspoon of onion powder or granulated powder. And you can use rosemary if you want, but we choose not to. And then again, she already put in the coconut oil, 1/4 cup. Now, first of all, the ricotta. Did you try the ricotta? Did you like that? Did everybody like the ricotta? That was
On the leaf.
That was this one on the leaf, and it's also in your lasagna. So do you like that? Is that a yes or a no? Is that one we should keep? Okay, good. All right, so there we go. Thank you. And so we're gonna put in the 2 3/4 cups of boiling water. And then all she does is turn it on, and she just mixes it up. Now, we aren't gonna mix it completely because it takes it like probably about 5 minutes. You want this one to be completely smooth. Where the ricotta, we wanted it to be chunky. This one we want to be completely smooth, okay? So, oh, we forgot, we got to put
I'm gonna
this in.
just pulse it from the
Okay, she's
corner.
gonna pulse that first. All right.
And this is the calcium. Okay, this is the calcium pack you're gonna add first. You do not wanna add the large one first because it would clunk up on you, that you add that last, okay? So we're adding the calcium pack first, just pour it in.
And if somebody wants to take at home so you remember what it is, we've got 2 of them up here, yes. We are making the mozzarella cashew cheese with Pomona pectin.
Okay, we're gonna have a little
All
noise.
right, here we go, we got noise. You're gonna just keep it going until it's really smooth, all right? And once it's all done, then, yeah. And then we're gonna have the number 2. So this one is your, this is put it on the plate, a little block cheese. You're gonna put this in the refrigerator. And actually, you can put it in get a bowl. Okay, you get a bowl and you line it with their plastic wrap. And you pour this into that wrap. And then you just make it into a bowl. So you close it up, the wrap, and into a bowl. And now we did this 2-3 hours ago. And look at, we've got our cheese ball. So if you want a cheese ball, you've got a cheese ball, easy. If you want to just put it into a container and make it sliceable, you can do that as well. Right, so this is your mozzarella.
Okay, once you pour this, you wanna work speedily, because it will start thickening on you.
Yeah, it gets really
And
thick.
stir around the sides so you don't get that clunking.
Oh, you want to put it in the middle.
Yeah.
All right, when you pour this in, pour it straight into the middle, and then you fold the fluid around it. So that it just, you don't want to stir it quickly, you want to fold it in, and then you stir it. Okay. Then,
Save your time, we're not gonna go too long.
right, and then.
It's already thickening on me, so. And you already have your pan ready.
You see how we just put a bowl and we put the saran wrap in it, and she's gonna pour it in. And you wanna use your spatula to get as much out as you can. Right now, we aren't gonna do that for the time. So, and then, yeah, because it sets pretty quickly. Yes.
I wanted to ask a question, I hope I don't embarrass anybody. But I've made the cashew cheese that Yolanda even makes.
Yes.
And she puts a carrot, I'm not sure
Oh,
how much.
hold on.
And it makes it
Yeah.
really like cheese.
So hold on, because that's the next one.
Cool.
Okay. All right, so now we're going to move things around a little bit.
Now, which one is that on our plate?
That one is one of the, it's the square. The little square one on the little plate. You like that one? Good. Okay, and Deb, can you bring me the other Vitamix? You notice we are using Vitamix because the Vitamix mixer just, it lasts forever. It's very strong, good horsepower. It just works so much faster. Okay, so this next one is called the Simple Pimento Cheese Sauce. Now, if you look on your plate,
You had one celery that was with the simple pimento cheese sauce and one with potatoes, that is made with potatoes. So if you're at home and you need cheese and you don't have the pimentos and you don't have the cashews, you can actually use the other recipe that is made with potatoes. And then what if you don't have pimentos? What do? You use carrots, you can use a red bell pepper, you can use pimentos. So there's lots of different ways to get around. If you don't have certain items, there are other items you can use in the place. And it all works out so easily because you just put it in your mixer. If you don't have a really good mixer, blender, it will not last as long. The Vitamix mixers, even though they cost quite a bit more, they last a long time. Okay, so with this, we decided to use, because cashews, I love cashews, and cashews are so good, they're like almonds. Almonds are so good for us, again, both are full of vitamin B's. However, cashews have much more fat in them than the almonds do. And the cashews are much more expensive. So we're going to take our cashews, which we just have a half a cup, and then we're making a half of what the recipe is showing here. And then we just added some tofu because the tofu will add in that creaminess and make the cheese as well. And yes.
There's firm and not so firm and medium.
Yes, we want the firm.
Firm.
Yes, please. Okay, and then we're gonna put 2 cups of water and then the pimentos. So we have, how many of you guys buy the little jars of pimentos? Yeah, okay. So again, yesterday I made the potato cheese, and I used I did something else with pimentos, but I opened my big jar and I only used 2 tablespoons of the pimentos. So I really didn't want to do that. With the potato cheese, I used carrots with that one, and it looks good and it tastes good. Okay, so we did that. We've got the salt, 3 teaspoons of salt, 3 teaspoons of onion powder, 3 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder or granulated garlic, and then lemon juice, a 1/4 cup of lemon juice. And you just a blender. Look how this is just so fast. And you just, this one you want to make sure you start off low, and then raise faster. And it just, after a couple minutes, you need to let it go a couple minutes again, because we put cashews in this. It takes a while for the cashews to completely break down. You want this to be absolutely smooth. So take a little bit on your fingers, make sure it's smooth. If it isn't completely smooth, then turn it on for a few more minutes. With the potato cheese, because it's just potato, it's cooked potatoes. So I just take the 2 cups of potatoes and 1 cup of carrots. I boil them together, takes about 15-20 minutes, and then I just throw them right into the Vitamix. I add all those other products, and you might want to use a little bit more nutritional yeast. Some people like more nutritional yeast with the potato cheese than not. Yes?
Doesn't matter what kind of potatoes, russets or the rabbit.
I haven't found a difference. I've made the potato cheese a few times now, and I've used different kinds, and it works out well. So this is the, okay, so I think this is the mozzarella, what it looks like, if you just put it in a dish. And And this is actually the potato cheese. Now, did anybody try, did you notice the potato? Can you tell the difference between the pimento cheese? One is spicier than the other? It was probably the potato cheese because I think I probably put in a little bit more onion and garlic powder. But, you know, you can add more and change it around to whatever your likings are. Oh, I know what I put in the potato and cheese. I put in a little bit of cayenne pepper. Okay? Okay.
How much is that? How much? How much?
Just a pinch.
Oh, and yeah, really, just a dash. And it should say on there, just a dash of cayenne pepper. It doesn't take much, but it gives it that little that I really, really like. Okay, so did you try the pimento cheese? I think it's this one. And then the other one was the potato. All right, so everybody, did anybody not like either one of those cheeses? Pretty good? Everybody like them? Because we really want to know what you think about our meals. How about the lasagna? Did you like the lasagna? All right, and I don't think you've gotten the dessert yet, but we have made you a dessert that will be passed around in just a few minutes. And it is something that we all love, cheesecake. Orange type cheesecake. It's on your recipe list there. All right, any questions, anybody? I'm happy to see everybody here. Yes.
2 cups of potatoes, a cup of carrots.
2 cups of potatoes, 1 cup of carrots. It should be on
In
there.
place of the ketchup.
Yeah, well, no, there's a recipe there for potato cheese and one.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, so two different cheeses there. All right. Any other questions? Yes. It comes in the Pomona's Universal Pectin. You can actually get this at most of the grocery markets. Yeah. And it's in the aisle where you make your own jams and jellies. Okay, so that is very good. All right. Any other questions? All right, did everybody like those cheeses? Are they, you can see that they're really simple to make. You don't have to go to the store and buy cow's cheese. Oh, Deborah? Ross, would you go let Deborah know that she's got your microphone on? Okay, so these are cheeses that you can make at home, and that's why we want to show you how easy it is to make your own cheese and so much more healthy.
What did you say it yielded, the recipe yielded how much?
For which one?
I get any of it, like potato cheese, how much does it yield?
Well, I'll tell you what, the potato cheese, yeah,
About 2 cups.
it,
2 cups.
the potato, the potato cheese, it's 2 quarts. It'll make 2 quarts. Okay, this one, they'll all make right around 2 quarts. Right, okay, all right, and, yes.
The nutritional yeast, I don't really want to put in my stuff. Does that ruin it, or do you have a substitute?
I do not have a substitute.
Could you say why? Could you say why you don't? Because we know that there has been different rumors about nutritional yeast. What is your reason?
Monosodium glutamate, I think, is in it.
Okay.
Yeah, she says monosodium glutamate might be in.
Not in all,
Nutritional cheese?
not in all your nutritional yeast. Yeah, it depends on where you're getting it from, you know.
So,
Because I'm allergic to it and it would react with me immediately and it doesn't when I get a certain place. It depends on where you're buying it from. Okay.
very good, yes. I don't know, do you know if the one at Winco has the monosodium?
That is where I get mine. I have no problem with that. Yeah. The bulk in the bulk section, I have no problem with it. I don't know, but I use that a lot, so I kind of called them on that.
Okay, all right, thank you so much, and if you'll give us a 1 second, we are going to, introduce our speaker, taking him away from his dinner here. And Deborah and I will take care of the products. Okay, so our speaker tonight is Dr. Gary Larson. Has anyone met Dr. Larson before? Yes? Okay, we have a couple. Dr. Larson is a local dentist, and Dr. Larson, can you tell us about your practice first?
It's a health-oriented dental practice. We'll just say it that way. And,
What makes yours different? Because his practice is really important.
I'm not sure everybody's ready for that here.
Well,
We wanna treat towards health, and, sometimes, the mouth isn't too healthy of a place, one way or another. What we're gonna do today, but thank you for the introduction, I thought that food was great. I think this is the first time I've been here, at least in this format, and, boy, this was wonderful. My wife and kids should be coming, my wife loved this. Let's give everybody a hand here for the great job, great food, great sampling. I was just blown away here by you guys' presentation. I was enjoying every bite of it there. Today's topic, I actually have a video here because unless I play this video, you guys won't believe me. Some people think you should drink 8 glasses of water a day. Has anybody here heard that? Or more? But my problem always is if you drink the 8 wrong glasses of water, it might kill you. And what you're about to see is what happened when horses drank water. And you're going to see how this impacts every food choice in the supermarket. And you guys, after you see it, I'll ask you, does it impact every food choice in the supermarket? And we're going to give helpful hints on what we can do to protect ourselves. Go ahead.
Oh, you lost it. Yeah, I clicked the wrong button. Yeah.
Where we're overlooking now is the overlook from Wolf Creek Pass on the western slope of the Continental Divide. And what you're seeing down below is the San Juan River running through the pristine valley, heading to Pagosa Springs about 10 miles away. This is Treasure Falls. This is one of the sources of the San Juan River. You can see how it's pretty pristine where this water comes from. The water that comes through Pagosa Springs, we are the first town on this water source. We are at the source of the water that heads toward California. This is Pagosa Springs, from which Pagosa Springs gets its name from. It's supposed to be the hottest, deepest springs in the world. Ironically, Pagosa Springs means healing water. We live upwind, and there are no fumes that come down on our place from the springs. We live quite a ways from the springs, so as the crow flies, there's not any sediment coming out of the springs or the steam or anything on our place. This is the hay that we have left over from last year. We're soon to be getting third cutting of the new cutting 2006 hay to be delivered, and put up in the barn we always get a year's worth at a time. The barn will be totally full when that comes. We feed everything by weight. Each horse gets an individual ration. I feed my animals a custom mix that I mix myself. It's all organic. Individual things that I know exactly what each horse is getting. 10, 12, 15 different kinds of herbs. No pesticides, no fluoride. This is organic garlic powder. This is organic flaxseed. This is the same bee pollen that we eat.
Notice her horses are better fed than most humans.
When we got her, she hadn't been messed with at all, and she was absolutely scared of everybody and everything. When I started washing her, I was like, that's nice. I like that. She was a grand champion mare, and her both judges, Palomino show Colorado State Fair. Hi, I'm Kathy Justice. My husband is Wayne Justice, Western artist. We raise registered quarter horses. We breed, show, and play with our horses. We love our horses. And everything was going great until 1985 when artificial fluoridation started. We had no idea that was what was making our horses sick. So we changed feeds, we did everything, had vets come out, we went to the ends of the earth trying to figure out what was wrong with our horses, and it wasn't until my most precious baby died. Sorry. Anyway, we sent her leg, when she died, we had taken her to 6 different vets, 2 of which were at Colorado State University, that had absolutely no clue what was wrong with her. After she died, we asked the vet to do an autopsy, and the vet thought that possibly there were other things that killed her. She had so many varied symptoms, neurological problems, Cushing's disease, lameness, thyroid problems, breathing problems. The list just goes on, reproductive problems. And so the vet said that she thought that possibly some of the symptoms could have been pointed to particular things, West Nile, botulism, EPM, different things. And so we told the vet to test her for anything and everything that she could think of that could have caused her problems, because we wanted a definitive answer as to what killed her. But I specifically told her I wanted her checked for chronic fluoride poisoning, which at that time was still my theory that was what was bothering her, was making her sick. Anyway, the vet took heart, lung, liver, kidney, all kinds of cards and sent them off, and every one of them came back negative. We went ahead and buried the mare without a definitive answer of what killed her. So I got on the phone, was able to contact Dr. Leonard Crook, professor of pathology emeritus at Cornell University, who has spent his life diagnosing chronic fluoride poisoning, mostly in cattle, and told him what the symptoms were. And he said, well, I need a leg. He wanted to know if the vet had taken any bone specimens. And I said, no. And he said, well, that's the only way that we can make a positive diagnosis. So my husband dug the mare back up, took a leg just below the knee, and sent it to Dr. Krug.
By examining one selected bone submitted for examination, we did chemical analysis of the bone X, we took radiographs, and we took samples for microscopic examination. The changes in the radiographs and those under the microscopes are typical, not to say pathognomonic or fluoride poisoning. So in the first report on that single case only, I concluded, quote, with reasonable scientific probability, unquote, that the changes here indicates that the horse was suffering from chronic fluoride poisoning.
And after about a month, we received a 17-page report with the final conclusion of chronic fluoride poisoning. A friend of ours, who had a horse, a gelding, that had had similar symptoms, obviously not the reproductive problems, but the Cushing's disease, the breathing problems, skin problems, different things. And that horse got so bad that they put him down. And so we took one of his legs and sent it to Cornell. And his report also came back with chronic fluoride poisoning. There was a third horse, but also not my horse, that had died. The owner said that the horse had had chronic back problems ever since they had moved to Pagosa Springs and had no clue why it had had that problem. And so we took its leg when it was put down and sent in, it also came back with the same diagnosis. In 2005, we had another mare. When she finally died, we sent her bone and it came back with the same conclusion.
My horse that I call Skip, right from the get-go when he was born, he's second generation. Started out with an attitude, and he would try to bite me anytime I went by. He even kicked me one time, and to the point where at one time I even thought of getting rid of him, getting another horse. This was all while he was on fluoridated water. We noticed it didn't take too long after fluoridation had quit in our water that his attitude changed. And he now is a lover. He's a completely different horse. So I wouldn't sell him or part with him for $1 million. This also happened with one other horse that we have that has a completely different breeding. So, you know, it's not the breeding that's caused it. And she used to bite you anytime you walk by her stall. And now she's the same way. She's a lover. I've been around horses all my life. And so I know it wasn't from the way I was treating him or trying to deal with him, the reason that he had that attitude. It had been in the fluoridation.
Winter of 2003, 2004, we had snow on the ground all winter long. It's the first winter in many winters, because Colorado's been having a drought, that we had snow on the ground all winter long. We have a 100-gallon tank outside, and we do allow our horses to be horses, so we keep them in the barn at night, but during the day, which is the biggest part of their day, they are out and they're able to play and do what they like to do. But we noticed that that tank that we normally filled every day to day and a half was only needing filled every 18 to 19 days. So we started watching the horses, and they would even stand right there by the tank with the heated city fluoridated water, looked clean, and eat snow. And they were eating snow a big part of the day. And we noticed that all the colic stopped. The amount of colics that we were having, we didn't have one colic all winter long. And almost all of the symptoms that Baby Doe, who had all this heavy Cushing's hair, she shed all winter long. Well, when it gets down to 35 degrees below zero, a horse shouldn't be shedding, but she was shedding this excess hair. Anyway, after all the snow melted, we have a little ravine that runs through our place, and there was still snow up on the hill under the trees. this little, you can't even call it a stream, it's about 6 inches wide, maybe an inch deep of water, muddy water was coming down the hill. And the horses would go over there and dig a little pool of this dirty, thick, muddy water and would rather drink that water rather than drink the so-called clean city water. After that all dried up, we got our first colic again when they had to start drinking only city water. So we did a major search again. We've been searching for years. Finally found someone who would allow us to use their water rights out of the San Juan River to haul water. And we bought a big 325 or 50 gallon tank that we put in the back of our truck and started hauling water for our horses. Since then, that was in March of 2004, we have not had another colic. And every symptom has abated since then, other than Baby Doe and the other mare bird that died, that were just too far gone. They were so far gone, had too much accumulation in their body to come out of it. Horses, on average, a standing horse, one that is not doing anything, will drink between 10 to 12 gallons a day. A lactating mare can actually double that amount. Ironic thing is the horses that we had get the sickest, the quickest, were the mares that were lactating. The mares that we had for brood mares. And you see here, this is Baby Doe, the first horse that Dr. Krug diagnosed. Her hooves were getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And this was the spring of 2004 after having snow on the ground. And you can see her hoof was growing back to normal. This was the abnormal part. And I was making a list of things that were manifesting in our horses. So I'm going to read it here. Of course, the colics, head shaking, muscle twitching, spasms, seizures, falling for no reason, jerking, eventually complete loss of neurological response, skeletal problems, bony deposits on bones, cracking and popping with every move, hoof deformities, lameness, legs on grown horses becoming bowed and crooked, swelling joints, tendons and ligaments hardening, laminitis, and he brought up the point that there are so many animals, horses these days, being afflicted with laminitis for not any real apparent reason that fluoride might be a problem with this epidemic. Choppy, stiff gaits, joints giving way, ribs becoming fused so breathing was difficult, thinness, abscesses, slobbering, thyroid problems, reproductive problems, excessive sweating, abortions, sterility, cryptorchids, constant milk production, even in mares that had never been bred, uterine discharges and infections. We had one mare that went from a regular infection to E. coli to staph infection that could not be controlled. Lack of heat cycles, small and dismature foals born with crooked legs, Cushing's disease and equine metabolic syndrome. I had one lady call me from town that said she personally, without looking, knew of 15 horses that had Cushing's disease, not shedding coats with very long coats, horses that were very lethargic, loss of muscle tone and mass, dips over eyes would fill in and stick out a lot of times beyond the eyeballs, lameness, and dental fluorosis, and then the attitude problems that Wayne was talking about, chronic coughing and wheezing, allergic reaction with skin bumps, kidney problems, constant excessive urination, and cancer.
To summarize what we found in the justice horses, one, there is a source of fluoride, namely the artificial fluoridation of the community water, which is the only source of water for the horses and the only source of fluoride because there is no fluoridated mineral supplements used and there is no fluoride containing fertilizer used on the farm. Two, dental fluorosis. Three, we have the clinical manifestations as documented by Kathy Justice there in numerous pictures, hoof deformities, thickened bones. Then we have chemical analysis of the bone X from a number of horses. We have radiographic evidences. Now we are up to 3, 4, 5. We have also microscopic evidences of fluoride damage to the bone tissue, also reported allergy reaction to the artificial fluoridation of the community water. So with the evidences we have accumulated, there can be no doubt at all and stated with reasonable scientific certainty that the justice horses were and are suffering from chronic fluoride poisoning.
He took, what he received, the information that he received from Baby Doe, my mare, Riley, the friend's horse, and the third horse, and wrote a peer-reviewed article that has now been published in the January-March issue, 2006 issue of Fluoride, the Quarterly Journal of the International Society for Fluoride Research. After that was written and published, there was so much worldwide response from that and request for a follow-up for more symptoms that my horses showed, that a second article has now been written and peer-reviewed and published in the April-June issue, 2006 issue of the same periodical called Fluoride. It wasn't until we got the scientific paper from Dr. Crick, the first one from Baby Doe, that I sent the water department a letter and told them, this is what you've done to my horses. And they were totally appalled. I've been a crazy blonde woman for years. And so they asked me to come and speak to one of their board meetings and actually let me speak for over an hour. And being that they had never even called me to ask, to say, well, gee, what's going on out there? Why do you suspect fluoridated water? They got an earful when they heard the stories, the horror stories, when they saw the pictures that we had of our horses through the years that they had totally ignored. After that first meeting, we had, I believe, another couple meeting or two with the board. Second meeting, they were gonna educate us how good fluoride was for us. And of course, the things that they said were basically lies. They had believed the things that they had been told by the so-called experts. And they decided that they were going to have a countywide forum to figure out what the general populace thought. Well, a lot of people in Pagosa Springs had educated themselves. We overfilled the room. There wasn't even standing room. They were out in the halls wanting to get into this. They had their so-called three experts, the state epidemiologist, head of the public health department, and the state fluoride expert, and a local dentist. And I was warned 5 different times the week before the forum, that there will be no debating, absolutely no debating. And I had read for years that the so-called experts will not debate because they cannot debate. What they are saying is not true. Anyway, we got there and we presented our side. They presented their side first. We presented our side. We also showed a tape of Dr. Hersey doing his Senate subcommittee testimony.
Thank you for the opportunity to appear today to present the views of the union on the issue of fluoridation of public water supplies. Our union represents the staff, scientists, lawyers, and others who analyze hazard, exposure, and economic data and advise management how to use them in public health protection. I'm not here today to speak for EPA, but rather the union, founded 17 years ago to protect EPA workers from unethical pressure by EPA managers. It was on that basis in 1985 that we first got involved in this issue. In 1997, we voted to oppose fluoridation, and our opposition has grown stronger as more adverse data on the practices come in.
And the moans and groans while we were showing that tape was really great. Anyway, the audience pretty much chewed up the so-called experts. They put them in their place, and it was, that was, I believe, March 8th of 2005, March 30th of 2005, all the equipment that was disconnected. We have no more fluoridation. I distill all of our drinking water, our dogs' water now. We've had 4 dogs die, so we've now decided to give our dogs only distilled water also, and Wayne and I only drink distilled water. This is what we got out of the distiller while the water was fluoridated. this is what we got out of it, 1 month later, after the fluoridation stopped. You see there's still white stuff in the bottom. This was, 8:05, what we were getting out. And then this is 11:05, and that's that brown solid stuff in there is just the buildup of sediments. But you see how much clearer it got, and it wasn't thick. And my horses have gotten well, continuously improving in leaps and bounds. It's like, my husband says, it's like being on vacation, not having to worry about horses getting colic, horses being lame, horses having all these diverse problems.
The fluoridation of the Pagosa area water supply ceased. The citizens stood up and demanded that the water district act responsibly, and thankfully they did. Today in the United States, over 200 million people are still being subjected to this costly and health-damaging experiment. In a democracy, it's the responsibility of the citizens to make sure that our elected officials act with due diligence, ethically, and responsibly. So it's now your job to make the public water supply safe for us all to drink, free from industrial contamination and adulteration with hazardous waste byproducts that have never been approved for human consumption.
Pay close attention here.
On a Saturday, January 31st, Wayne's horse, the big dun called Skipper, died of lung cancer. A predictable outcome.
I didn't know horses smoked. Now the rest of the story.
It's a ritual we learned from the minute we sprout teeth. Brush, brush, brush. And for years, fluoride has been billed as a powerful weapon against cavities. But now researchers say fluoride may not be such a good thing after all.
Of the recent children, if you accidentally swallow more than used for brushing, see professional assistance or contact a poison control center immediately.
Even this San Diego scientist is surprised at the new warning on toothpaste labels. It may be in small print on the back of the tube, but for the last year, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has required this warning for children on all toothpaste containing fluoride.
Every year, there's approximately 10,000 calls to poison control centers for children who are injured by, maybe ill by, swallowing toothpaste.
The toothpaste warning label does not surprise this San Diego dentist. He's all for it. Dr. David Kennedy is helping lead a campaign against fluoride.
It's in the water, it's in your cereal. If it's in the water, it's in your vegetables, it's in your soup, it's in your beer, it's in every fluid or beverage.
We put Dr. Kennedy's charge to the test. We buy 4 commonly used products at the grocery store and take them to expert chemical analysis in Sorrento Valley. The U.S. Public Health Service recommends limiting fluoride in water supplies to just 1 part per million. Minute Maid orange juice and Coca-Cola Classic come in just under that limit, 0.98 parts per million.
The Gerber berry punch was, quite a bit higher.
The fluoride in Gerber Graduate's Berry Punch registers at 3 parts per million. That's 3 times the Public Health Service recommendation. Also high, Kellogg's Fruit Loop cereal, popular with the kids, made in Battle Creek, Michigan, where they add fluoride to their water, coming in at more than 2 parts per million, twice the recommended limit. Why be concerned?
Cancer, depression, dental fluorosis, osteopathy, neurological impairment, lower IQ in children, learning disorders.
The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends no fluoride exposure to infants under the age of 6 months. And from 6 months to 3 years, when all other sources are considered deficient, 1/4 milligram or 1 cup of water. Well, if you can't give it to infants, why not? Human breast milk contains almost no fluoride, 0.05 parts per million. I look for that in water. Research shows that breastfed infants are smarter, healthier, have better immune systems, less infection, stronger, and do better than the infants that are on tap water formula. Think about it. 1 cup a day. Your child is 3 years old, out playing in the hot summer sun of Las Vegas, and she comes in and says, I like a glass of water. No, honey, you had a glass of orange juice this morning. One of those little glasses. And you can't have any more water today because prescription medication. Because Minute Maid orange juice has 1 part per million, so does Coca-Cola. The grape juice has plenty in it, and then when you go to the Gerber's Graduate Berry Punch, you get 3.1 parts per million fluoride. So you can only have a thimbleful of the Graduate Berry Punch. And what's really shocking is we've tested baby food. Here's another example. What if you had poured Coke on the Wheaties and then drank the milk separately? You get 132% more than the alleged optimal dose. And that's just for breakfast. You know, you can't put chemicals in the water supply and expect to have any kind of dosage control. Because fluoride is used willy-nilly as a pesticide. Americans have been sold on the fact that fluoride is perfectly good. Put it in the toothpaste, we have a kids brush with it, it's safe, right? So the industry, the agribusiness, has decided that we're going to use cryolide, which is sodium and aluminum fluoride, as a pesticide, and they won't suspect. But they're allowed to have, like in leaf lettuce, 40 parts per million, 45 parts per million in the cabbage. Yes, the bugs on the cabbage are a little harder to kill than the ones on the lettuce. But then when we get to the head lettuce, you can have up to 180 parts per million. And then we'll go through some of the levels that are permissible for cryolide of sodium aluminum fluoride. Well, sodium aluminum fluoride, Grandjean shows that the workers around the cryolide factory had lung cancer and bladder cancer that could not be explained by their smoking habits alone. Well, why would you expect bladder cancer? Because when you swallow the stuff, the way that the body gets rid of about 50% of the fluoride you swallow is through the kidneys. And it goes down the bladder. So if you got 55 parts per million in the raisins, you like ketchup, tomato paste, that when you take these things, crunch them up, put them into the ketchup bottle, you get concentration. The more you cook fluoride, the more it stays in the pot. You know how when you burn the water out of the pot, there's crusty stuff in the bottom of the pot? That's all the minerals. It's in everything. When you put it in the water and you allow it to be used as a pesticide, fluoride is in almost every food. We've been to the grocery store and we've tested over 150 different products. I bought the equipment. We go to at the testing laboratory in Sereno Valley. Some of these have been tested by other activists in their communities. Highest levels are found in the chicken because they take the chicken, they blow it through a machine, it takes all the bone out. Well, it occasionally nicks the bone. Well, the chicken is so high, the bones are so high in fluoride that this chicken ends up 8 parts per million fluoride. Let's feed that to the baby. What do you think? Will we have stupid children as a result? Have you noticed how the children are behaving lately?
My name is Joe Walls. I'm from Sardis, Arkansas. I am a water operator and a sewer operator. I was injured on the job in 1997. I was sprayed by hydrofluoric acid or fluoride. I was trying to work on a pump and the pressure didn't depressurize, so when I did it, unhooked the pump from the line, it sprayed acid all over me. So I've had lots of health problems since that time. But it started within about 3 or 4 days and got progressively worse over time.
Fluoride is a toxic chemical. It's just something like cyanide. In cyanide, the death is instantaneous, whereas in fluoride, you die every day. And you suffer with varying manifestations, dental, skeletal, soft tissue manifestations, and a variety of health problems. All day, all your life, you suffer. Is it worth living like that?
When did you start working there?
79.
1979.
And about
13 years ago.
About 5 years later, I started having problems through here. Always had, since then, I've had a sore spot there. If I don't take anti-inflammatory drugs or muscle relaxers, the back is just like a knife going in it. Every step, the bladder feels like it bounces. But that has nothing to do with the shoulders.
What is most important, which has emerged in the last 15 years, which we have field tested and confirmed, is the soft tissue manifestations, which we call non-skeletal fluorosis. In non-skeletal fluorosis, we have complaints emanating from gastrointestinal complaints, because fluoride destroys the gastric mucosa, microvilli, goblet cells, there's no mucus production. And that the patients have varying complaints like nausea, vomiting, pain in the stomach, bloated feeling, and constipation followed with intermittent diarrhea. These are classical gastrointestinal complaints which a patient of fluorosis, early manifestations which a patient may suffer from. And today, we use these non-ulcer-respiratory complaints as early detection of fluoride toxicity.
About 91, then I started having problems.
Can you get it off?
Yeah, I always get it off. Sometimes I have trouble rolling the collar down over a towel.
Okay.
Uh,
Scapular winging. Turn around.
That's as high as you can lift your arms?
That's it.
Classical health symptoms or health complaints is dental fluorosis in children, and for a long period of time, if you consume fluoride, you end up with skeletal fluorosis.
Tissue fluorosis is very common in fluoridated communities of the United States, but skeletal fluorosis, like you see here, is not. Professor Gao is standing behind Louis Jadé, who has both skeletal and tissue and dental fluorosis. Notice how he cannot rotate his wrist or even bend his arm enough to touch his head. His first symptoms years ago was dental fluorosis. Later, his back began to hurt, a common symptom for fluoride exposure. He's Chinese, and he was poisoned by natural fluoride in his well water that is at the EPA's.
Hello? It was at the EPA's permissible limit. In fact, that guy you saw, it was a little bit below what the EPA tries to recommend or allow, which is 1 part per million. Okay, so we gotta do true false questions. True or false? Drinking the wrong kind of water can hurt you and maybe even give you a whole host of health problems, maybe even give you cancer. True or false? All right, we're all on the same page. What you learned, true or false? Does it really impact every food choice you may make at the supermarket? Yeah, it might impact it. You want to think about it. So practical advice, who here thinks fluoride reduces cavities? Man, we all been taught that. Well, the problem is with the research is this. When they look at it, when they start fluoridating the water and things, they go, wow, there's less cavities. It's because children that grow up with fluoridated water, their teeth come in their mouth about 6 months to a year slower than the typical person. Why? Because they've been poisoned. So when they look at the number of cavities, yes, there's less cavities because the kids have less teeth in their heads that were fed fluoridated water. Okay? All right, so what do we want to do? We want to stop drinking fluoridated water. Really important. It's not a nutrient. There's also, currently, there's now 53 studies that is linking fluoride with reduced IQ in children, okay? So you don't want to give your kids fluoridated drops. You don't want to give your kid fluoridated toothpaste, or you should really do what I do at my house with the fluoridated toothpaste. Throw it in the trash, okay? That's the first thing that happens with it. My wife says it does clean the toilet well. I'm serious. Okay, so, you know, there's lots of people that believe in drinking water, but in the end, really pure rainwater, which is distilled water, is, you can't really argue that. Personally, I believe that that's probably one of the healthier waters, because when you drink pure water, your body doesn't have to sift through the other garbage in there and have to process it. This is something that we kind of have at our house, because we used to have a water distiller. You guys familiar with what a water distiller looks like? You can buy them on Amazon, I think, for about $100, and literally it just boils the water, and the steam that goes up it actually condenses out the other end. But I think how many of them did we wreck? We went through 2 of them, I think, at least, and so we kind of started, it's nice during the winter, the water distiller. But distilled water is good. You can also buy distilled water like at Walmart. It disturbs me at Walmart because they have that water that you should give your children. It's like My Baby and Me, you know, with trace minerals for your baby. Maybe they use a formula. It bothers me because it has fluoride in it, a lot of it. So some of you might, this here is zero water. This is basically almost ends up being distilled water in the end. I do like that. It even comes with a little tester, and you can test your water to see how pure it is. So you might want to look at that. That's on Amazon. Some of you might be doing reverse osmosis water. Anybody here drink reverse osmosis water? Or you have them? Okay. It does reverse fluoride in the water, which, by the way, everyone, you should call your water supplier and see if there's fluoride in the water. But if there is fluoride in the water, reverse osmosis reduces the fluoride content maybe by about 80% or so. Some of you use maybe Brita filters for anything. That does not, it's activated charcoal, does not filter out fluoride at all. So fluoride just goes straight through to you. Okay. Some people like drinking spring water. Contact the company that you're drinking. Some spring waters have very high levels of fluoride. Apparently one is Trinity Springs. Apparently there's a fluoride in it. It could be natural, just like you saw that guy from China. It's 0.7 parts per million. Remember, they like to water at 1 part per million. Also, you who have young, and the pediatrician is trying to convince drops in your kid's water. Why would you do that? It doesn't reduce the kid. Reduces IQ. Okay. So
But the pediatricians and dentists don't know this. I was to a dentist not too long ago, and he wanted me on a high duty fluoride, 17. More than.
Right. Now, so if your dentist is, telling you get fluoride treatments, do this and that, you're okay.
I want to know why they don't know, or do they know and they don't tell?
They have been told that they superficial. Now, we also further reduce fluoride. I personally think you should get in our world down to as low as you can. It's not doing you any. So, eating organic, a good idea, because did you see green leafy vegetables, the cabbages and things like that? And it's like, wow, that's good for you to eat, right? 40 parts per million. Remember, your city water that they try to say is good for you is 1 part per million. So now if those vegetables and lettuce and things were, if it was organic, it would basically have probably almost no fluoride. Of course, they might have rinsed the vegetables off with city fluoridated water, but anyways, which kind of gets me to the next point. So, anybody here that like juice? Juice, okay. Do most of the juices saved from concentrate?
Yeah.
Okay. So if the city fluoridated water is where the plant is that juice going to have fluoridated water? Yeah. In fact, it showed Coca-Cola had like almost the ideal 1 part per million. And I laugh because, fluoride is supposed to reduce decay, but I'll tell you this, Coca-Cola doesn't reduce decay at all. fact, that supplies me with lots of business very well. So, you know, and it would be in your orange juice from concentrate, it would be in everything. Now, I will tell you this, I recently found out from Dr. Teskey, some of you may know who that is. He saw me, well, I saw him recently there in my office, and he said, hey, Kings County has to thank you. Well, what do you mean? Thanks to you, Kings County is not going to be getting fluoridation equipment installed because they now have a windfall of money that's coming to them, and they have all these lists on projects that they can use, and one of them was to do fluoridated water, and he said, oh boy, I heard that, and he's all, Dr. Teskey is the one who ended up politely convincing them that they shouldn't mess with the water because of some recent problems they had. So Kings County does not have fluoridated water. So the video you saw, it can make a difference, and it has already. Now, so things that come from concentrate are going to have fluoride in it, most likely. Now, something that you also want to keep in mind, anything with grapes, unless it says organic, unless it says not for concentrate, will have fluoride pretty much in it, okay? Because they spray fluoride on the grape plants because it doesn't hurt them, but it kills the bugs well. So fluoride kills bugs.
How is organic? Like if they use city water, would they get fluoride?
There's still going to be some, yeah, but I don't know how much they really rinse off the vegetables, but or rinse off the grapes, but for some reason, when you're buying it straight from the store, the grape juice does have a lot in it. So, and none of you here should be drinking wine, of course, and you shouldn't even be drinking that non-alcoholic stuff. That all has in America very high levels. In fact, our wines in Europe, because they have so high a fluoride concentration, they're banned. I see a question back there. Of course, don't drink wine. And don't eat meats either. Chicken has a lot of it, and the more it's processed, the more fluoride. The fluoride comes, in general, most of the fluoride comes from a byproduct of making aluminum. So when they get aluminum out of the ground, they start making it into the metal that you and I know of. The byproduct is aluminum, or fluoride, and sodium fluoride is basically where they get most of it. Also, another thing here, I do believe, Pastor, did Ellen White ever talk about not eating, not consuming tea? What did she say? Don't do it? Tea's bad, or something like that? I don't think it came from the Tea Party incident. The reason is because you guys need to know green tea and black tea both have very high levels of fluoride. Pam, how many minutes do I have? 10 minutes? I don't need that much, I don't think. Well, you come up here when we're done. Okay, another thing here is apparently if you cook a lot with non-stick Teflon pans, showing higher concentration of fluoride in that. Oh, and here's another good one. And this one really bothers me. Anybody here know of anybody that's had Lyme's disease? Did they give them antibiotics? What did they give them? Do you know what kind of? Keflex? Okay. Well, sometimes they give you Cipro. It's called ciprofloxacin. Know that word. That's fluoride. Cipro has lots of fluoride in it, guys. So as you're taking it, maybe it's killing the bad bugs, but maybe it's killing you. Of course, avoid mechanically deboned meats and things like that, especially chicken, because it has high levels of fluoride in it. Some other interesting facts, 97% of Western Europe has rejected water fluoridation. And fluoride's not a nutrient. Okay. So, anybody, have some more questions? Now, was I sounding extremist when I said what you're about to see it affects everything in the supermarket? All right, okay. But knowledge is power. Go ahead.
PUR filter from the faucet.
That's activated charcoal. It's just, it lets the fluoride go straight through. Activated charcoal lets it go straight through. Yeah, but call your municipality who's supplying your water, because here in Fresno, Clovis, last I checked, does not fluoridate. Fresno, it's in a unique little thing. Apparently they used to fluoridate, but they had a hard time maintaining pump pressures. So some of the areas might not have fluoridation, but it worries me because it keeps, go ahead. Yeah. Well, this one actually has, it's a 5-stage filter, it fits in here, but what happens is you test the water, and when the filter's all clean and running good, the water shows up as 0 parts per million, which is the same thing as distilled water, or same thing as pure rainwater. It's called zero water. Zero water. Do what?
On Amazon, you said it's $100.
I didn't say how much it is, I just said it's on Amazon. This one actually isn't the one we use. We have a nice, it's like a countertop one with a little spigot on the bottom. It's kind of square, but it's still zero water. But this one, I think, has been delegated to the RV. That's where it's going. And I just grabbed it before I put it back in there.
Oh, can we buy test kits? Test for fluoride ourselves?
The gentleman that was a dentist, he bought a special testing equipment to test it, and to do the testing, they sent it to a lab. So I tend to think you're not going to be able to do it. But I think you just got to be practical about it. Oh, by the way, I've also heard rumors. Now, this might be a rumor, but I keep hearing it. Fluoride really likes attacking your pineal gland inside the middle of your brain, kind of helps regulate hormones and things. I've heard, though, if you drink distilled water for, I don't know, a certain amount of time, then maybe it can get rid of the fluoride that's in your pineal gland. Remember those horses? Their hormones were all thrown out of balance. You know, when you think about the horses, it looked like job security for somebody. I mean, think about trying to figure out all their various health problems. And I don't know about you guys, but look around. You know, does it seem to be that people are just getting more and more sick all around you? Okay?
Yeah, most of our living hands that we took out of that Teflon on, that hydrochloric acid comes out.
Okay, so what if it's Teflon, but it's not aluminum? I guess all of them are aluminum. Okay. That's something to think about as well.
I have well water, so I'm gonna get it tested to be sure there's no fluoride.
I think I know where you live. Wait, don't you live
You got a
out,
real good
you live out in Sanger, kind of?
Yeah, you got a real good
You're
recommendation.
probably fine.
From Sunrise, Health said you were an excellent dentist. So I thought that was
Okay.
great. And he recommended you. But my question is, if we get a cabbage, if it's water and it's fluoride, et cetera, will it help to take the leaves off of the outer part, or is it sucked in and all the cabbage and purple cabbage and all these veggies?
Get organic. There you go.
Say
Get organic cabbage. It's the pesticide that has the fluoride in it. And the pesticide kills the bugs. It's insecticide. So just, keep that in mind. If it's not organic and it's cabbage and things, that's pretty much what they use to kill the bugs. And, I've heard in Korea that the vegetables in the supermarket, people pay more when they find bugs inside them. Because they know it hasn't been sprayed and killed. Got it? When's the last time you seen bugs at your local supermarket? Pretty kind of sterile there. Bugs don't want to eat it. You might not want to also, yeah.
Is there any safe bottle
You gotta call the bottled water company and get a list of, most all of them have it tested and find out exactly what it is. But, a good way to start out is, is maybe just go down to Walmart and get the distilled water, but of course, there's concerns with the container that the water's in, but I think it might be an okay plastic, but that's a whole other issue.
What about the smart water, the alkaline water you buy at the store?
You can buy smart water, alkaline water at the store.
I mean, like at Sprouts or Whole Foods.
Okay. Well, it needs to be tested. I mean, what does it have in it? And, there's a lot of controversy on, do you need minerals in the water or not? Some people will say distilled type water is the best, and some people will say, well, no, you want like water that has the calcium in it, things like that. And I have my own personal thoughts, and I'll share my thoughts here off the record. There's two groups of people that live the longest in the world. What are the two areas that people live the longest? Loma Linda, but that's not because of the water. But then I believe the other place is Costa Rica. I think Costa Rica is number one. And if you think about it, Costa Rica, everyone's just drinking pure rainwater. And if you're sick, let's say you're full of fluoride, let's say you're full of pesticides, your body can wash itself easier if it's pure water you're putting in. So if someone's sick, you might want to seriously consider distilled water for a while, but yet everybody has to figure out that for themselves. I personally lean towards distilled water as the safest. Pam, what do we have here?
Oh, you can help me with that.
Oh, no. I'm cook. My wife is good. Here you go.
Oh, yeah, one more question.
Yeah. No, that'll concentrate it all the more in your pot. But a distiller basically is this boiled water, but then imagine like the top, and then the water, just imagine if your top was bigger than your pan, you let it roll off to the side and drip down, that would be distilled water. That would be rainwater. But all the gunk, and you just cook it until there's nothing left, and then you see all this crusty calcium and fluoride and minerals and things. And like I said, I'm not too convinced that you want all that garbage.
Did you learn something tonight? Yes. Can we tell Dr. Larson? Hey, Dr. Larson, that was very informative. Oh, I'd love for you to have that. Okay, so we learned quite a bit tonight, right?
Yeah.
We learned about water and fluoride, and we learned about cheese. What I want you to know about cheese really quickly before we leave is that oftentimes we are told that we have to get our calcium from cow's milk and from all this dairy product. You actually get better calcium from your green leafy vegetables and from your pinto beans and other products. And you're going to get more calcium that your body can handle from the cheese that we made tonight. So please use the recipes and join us again next month. Okay, so we have some prizes to give out. We have, this is it? Can you check and see? I just want to see if we have any more. We have some potato cheese that we're going to give away. We have the almond ricotta, and then we have more potato cheese, okay. And then as you leave, is this a big potato? You could probably make a lot of potato cheese with this. Just don't forget to add the carrots. And again, we have some cookbooks over here that Deborah has developed. And our pastor's wife, Alina, she has also a cookbook that is over there. So please take a look, and if you're interested, we're happy to sell them to you. All right, so I'm going to pick out some numbers. So you have your tickets with you? All right. Okay, the number is 289153. Did you get it? Okay, you can come and pick one. Okay, and our next one is 289148. Oh, Carl, okay, Carl. And one more. And it's coming, it's coming. Okay, 289150. You got that? Okay, very good. Well, I made this one, so it's gotta be really good, right? Just these two. Okay, just one. And then as you leave, we have a big potato. I think, Daniela, did we have any others? Oh, we have more. Okay, so while we're waiting for it to come out, next month we have another, this is for sale. Thank you. I think Deborah would, if I gave, she already told me tonight, because I was carrying it around, and she says, no, that one's for sale, you know that, yeah.
That's $12.
Okay, this is $15, I think it's $15. Oh, we have dinners. Oh, we have dinners. Okay, we have 3 dinners, are you ready? And next month we have, another doctor who will be coming and talking to you about more interesting information. Now, this is March, right? So we have April, and then we have May. And then we are off until September. So you don't want to miss the next couple of months. And for those of you who have been here every single Living Well seminar evening, you have a special gift in May. And if you brought guests and you signed them in, then you have a gift as well. Okay, are you ready? All right. The next number is 289113. Good try. 139. Yay! Okay, and I'm assuming that all the dinners are the same. Okay. 289134. 134. Yay, Gail. Okay, and one more. I'm going to assume it's 289, right? Yes. Okay, 1, 2, 4. Okay, Lori. Very good. All right. If there are any subjects that you would like more information on, that you would like an evening a speech on, presentation, please let us know. And if there's anything in particular that you like about this, please let us know as well. No, you are actually, as you leave, you get to take one potato. Oh, we have more here. Oh, okay, all right, here we go, here we go. Are you ready? Okay, 289142. 142. Oh, here we go. 289125. Oh, you got one too. Okay. 289151. 151. Yeah, 151? Yeah. Okay. And our last one is 289-141. One four one? No, 141? Okay, we're going once, going twice. Okay, 289, 14. Oh. Is that 141? You got it. Almost missed it. Almost missed it.
Pay attention.
All right, and if we can, please, let's thank all of our staff members very loudly. For all of we had a great, great crew. For those of you who are able to, we appreciate it if you are able to help us clean up the tables before you leave, and let's have prayer and thank God for bringing us together. Our dear Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for the lessons you've taught us tonight. Lord, I pray that we will learn from these, and we'll take it home with us, and we'll do something with us. Help us to teach others as well. Keep us safe as we travel, and bring us back again. If not, we look forward to being in heaven with you. In Jesus' name.